What's up, Halo Zone? This is Parkatron. Today I've got a game of Team Slayer on the map Chateau. Oui, bonjour. Chateau is French for castle or home, I think. But that's not important. What is important is what I want to talk to you guys about today, and that is staying alive in Halo Reach and why that is important, mainly for Team Slayer. And here's a nice dirty no-scope to start the game. There are three main I guess components to staying alive in this game. Well, this is in my opinion anyway. One is your gun skills, second is your decision making, and third is your map knowledge. Now, they're not in order of importance or anything, they're all equally important, but I'll just talk to you about the first one, which is gun skills. Just before I get into it though, I just want to mention that I do get 13 and 0 in this game, and I thought it would be a good example to show you guys why it's important to stay alive and how that helps your team. So with gun skills, now that's something that just is going to come with practice. Knowing how each weapon works, which weapons you're good at. Some people are good with the DMR, others might find it a bit harder to use and they feel more comfortable with the assault rifle. You just need to always try and make sure that whatever weapons you like and are comfortable with and feel you can get a lot of kills with, that you go and get those weapons and learn where they are on the map. Obviously I would recommend getting power weapons and having something strong as a secondary, like a DMR or a needle rifle or something like that. Even the pistol is good, but I just prefer those guns over the automatic weapons because I find them, like, you know, I can get kills with them easier. But yeah, like I said, you might be different. You might prefer the assault rifle or the needler. It's fine. Don't worry about, you know, people saying that certain weapons are noobish. Then you know, because it doesn't really matter. You know, if you like the weapons and you enjoy using them and they're useful to you, then you just use whatever you want. Don't worry about what other people say. So the next part of it is decision making. What you know, in order to stay alive, you really need to decide when you get into a confrontation with someone. There's another nice no scope. When you get into a confrontation with someone, you need to decide whether you're going to stay and fight with them and try and beat them, or whether you think you're going to lose that fight and you decide to make an escape. That's something, again, that's going to come with practice, but really be conscious of that when you're engaging with your opponents. You know, if they land a couple of quick shots on you before you get a chance to see them, you know, if they're behind you or something, it's probably going to be best in most situations to make an escape. But it will depend on what weapon you have. You know, if you've got rockets or something, or a shotgun, and you know, you just have to make that call at the time. And that's what I was getting back to gun skills. That's really important with your decision making, because if you've got a weapon you're confident with, you're probably more likely to stay and fight, and you're probably more likely to win. But if you spawn with the assault rifle and you're not a big fan of it, you know, for example, you might decide to try and make the escape. Now, making escapes leads me into the third point I want to talk about, and that's map knowledge. Knowing the maps and all the different routes you can use to get away from engagements you decide to escape from is really, really important. You know, a lot of the multi-level maps can be a little bit confusing at times, but the multi-level maps are actually the ones that are the best to make the escapes on. Like this map, for example, you can easily just drop down to another floor or another story and you know, run off into a different direction, and it's really hard for people to follow you, especially if they're not using sprint. And I just want to touch on that. You know, sprint is by far the best ability to use in Team Slayer. Armor lock and jetpack and all that, yeah, they can be helpful in certain situations, but they will not allow you to escape from any confrontations as well as sprint will. And you know, sprint will keep you alive much better than armor lock, and there's a perfect example right there. And you know, jetpack leaves you exposed out in the open, stuff like that. So just be conscious of that when you're playing the game. And I suppose the point of all this, of me telling you this, is you know, it's really important to stay alive and have, you know, keep your deaths to a minimum. That's just as important as getting kills. I'll give you an example. I go 13 and 0 in this game, so my KD is plus 13. That helps the team more than someone who gets, say, 15 kills and 12 deaths, and they only get a plus 3. while 15 kills it sounds more impressive than 13 kills, they've actually given the other team 12 or whatever I said, 12 or 13 kills to them, whereas someone like me who went 0 in this game, I haven't given the other team any kills. So try not to, when you're playing Team Slayer, try not to focus too much on getting as many kills as you can, regardless of how many deaths you incur, because every death you incur is giving the other team another kill. So yeah, like I said, just be mindful of that. The good Team Slayer players will try and keep their deaths to a minimum and their kills to a maximum, which is you know, what we all want to do when we play pretty much all first person shooters. Yeah, if you can use those tips that I've given you and just put it into practice, learn the maps. You know, you can go into a custom game by yourself on each of the maps and learn where the power weapons are, what's the best escape routes. I've downloaded an MLG app, which is available on Android and iPhone. It gives you all the power weapon spawn times for every map, not just in MLG but regular playlists. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys later.